How about that Bitcoin price? We're going to take a look at Bitcoin today, as well as the usual gold and silver price analysis as well. Of course, this is brought to you by Ainslie Bullion, Ainslie Crypto, and the Gold and Silver Standard. My name is Joe. What am I quickly talking about? Head over to ainsleyBullion.com.au to the news section. I'll put a link below to that right now. It's SEC Twitter just got hacked. What? So read that insane event that happened actually just this morning about the SEC Twitter account being hacked and a fake approval of the Bitcoin ETFs going out, and then Gary Gensler came out and said no, that was not a real thing. And so we've seen this interesting little price pump and mini dump on Bitcoin. So just wanted to focus on that very quickly. We'll take a quick longer term macro view at Bitcoin as well, and then go straight into the gold and silver price analyses as well. Coming up later today, based on this news, you'll get Chris and Branko discussing this with you and with each other on our next Insights video that's coming up later on this afternoon around about 5 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So make sure you check that out as well. So Bitcoin, here we are. This is the 15-minute time frame using the tradingview.com website, priced in US dollars right now, $45,715 US dollars. So the fake Bitcoin ETF approval came out. Price shot up from about 46.7 roughly all the way to close to 48,000 US dollars. And this is based on this particular Bitcoin index, which is basically a conglomeration of a whole bunch of different exchange prices. And then Gary Gensler came out and said, yeah, no, that's fake. And then you have this move all the way back down to 45,000 roughly. So we'll do a quick bit of very short-term time frame analysis and see where do we have any particular targets in mind that we really want to stay above. And I'll do a quick bit of Fibonacci right here, just taking it from the high in the last few hours and the low so far. And I would say around about here is here. So here is here. Around about here would be your line in the sand for me on the very short-term time frame. We'd want to see this level here, the 0.236 of 45,620 US dollars, and give or take, because again, this is a sort of an average of a bunch of different exchange prices. So around about that price there, I want to see that hold as support. If it doesn't hold as support, then I'd say we're coming down to at least test this low. Could it be a double bottom? You never know. So keep that one in mind. And in order for me to be confident to say that we are back on our way onwards and upwards with Bitcoin, it's got to clear the 0.786 level of 47,260 US dollars roughly. That happens to coincide, very interestingly enough, if you scroll over to the left here, or watch me scroll over to the previous all-time high around about that price. Hey, good old Fibonacci. So makes sense. Want to see it creep and crawl, or preferably pump back above there and then hold as support. Then you can be more confident that we'll be on our way up. So let's do a quick bit of analysis, bit of more of a macro view on our way up and our way down. Take it back to the daily. Now you can see on the daily time frame, we're certainly certainly have been in a bull market for quite some time. Here's the bottoming out. At least most people think that's the bottom, unless there's a few people holding out, calling lower prices bearish on Bitcoin. But most people think that's the bottom right here at $15,500 roughly. And you can see this little blip just seems to be remaining as that when you take a look on the macro time frame. We are red for the day, but look again on this big bull run so far. That's just a blip on the market. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame, and I want to show you my Fibonacci levels. Anything I say here, of course, is not financial advice. It's my own personal opinion, not necessarily the opinion of Ainslie. I'm going to keep in these couple of trend lines. This one has yet to be retested for a third time right there, or there's the base there. That's the first retest. Second retest, I should say, has yet to occur. Also want you to take into account, these are my personal Fibonacci levels that I am using. I do like Fibonacci as a predictive tool. I find it to be quite predictive, not exactly always, but I do find it roughly pretty predictive. And I'm still going to take it from, I like the old highs and old lows, the old significant highs and lows. So I'm taking it from the first major bull run top to the first major bear cycle low right here. And so this is when we came up to roughly $1,250 in 2013, and the low of around about $165 in about 2015. And you can see that was a double bottom. So definitely that point. And what you can see here, for me, it's been very predictive. You can see here that the cycle top in December of 2017, it basically hit that point, 19,588 on this particular index. It topped out around about there. You can see pretty much on the money. Again, it's not exact, but geez, it's pretty darn close, right there at the $20,000 mark. You can see then that our cycle low for 2019 bottomed out at the 2.618 at around about $3,000. Again, that's from this high and this low back in 2013, 2015. Very interesting. Then we came back up to test the this level right here, which interestingly, if you were to do a Fibonacci from this high and this low, would be around about the 0.786 level, but it's here, it's the 11.089, so it's a key Fibonacci level, at least from here and here. See an area of resistance, support around here. What happened here in March of 2020, you know what happened there, so that was the big wick down. And then moving higher, when we get into this territory of making the new all-time highs in the 2021 area, Fibonacci was not as successful in picking the top. So more so, it was like it was finding support and then trying to break out, but then failing to break out a couple of times. So you have the first attempt to break out, that's at $64,000. If I pop this onto the weekly time frame, what you'll notice right here, if we pop in a little bit closer, you can see this move. And actually, what I'd love to show you here on the weekly time frame, again, there's that $3,000 low. I'm just showing you the power of Fibonacci for me. Areas of support, look at these areas of resistance. You can see it much better on the weekly time frame, how these Fibonacci levels are quite confluent, if that makes sense. Again, that blip in March of 2020, an area of resistance right here, areas of resistance here on the weekly time frame, break up, and then a sort of a cluster of support there. And then here in the 2021 area, it was, as I said, it's more like finding support at this area rather than failing to hit this Fibonacci right here. So an attempt and the level of support, no, try it again, rough area of support, broke down, found support at this Fibonacci level right here, come back up, area of resistance, fake out, then a breakout, attempt to come up to this $80,000 area, and that was the top right there at the 69,000, and then no, breakdown, area of resistance, and that's when we started seeing the downwards movement. Okay, so I'm showing you this because I personally find this Fibonacci from the old high here and the old low here to still be somewhat predictive for me, and that's why I'm keeping it. And if you look on the weekly time frame after we made the old highs, and we went into the next cycle bear market cycle, you can see again, based on that old Fibonacci, we came down, it was a spike, a level of resistance, a cluster of support, another cluster, a failed breakdown here, failed to break down here, so that's your bottom here at 15,000, a break back up, a lot of weather report here, and then look at that key support here, a big wick down, you can see the resistance here. And finally, we're in this area right now. So that's at the $45,650 level right here. I put this to you because I think this is still in play. So my personal next target, if we do see it as resistance, is going to be here at roughly $50,000. So it's between $50,500 and $51,000 US dollars. I'm keeping that personally as my top target if we do see, and there's a couple of scenarios, but if we do see a top and then a move before this blue line. What's this blue line? That is the approximate next halving for Bitcoin in 2024, in a few months' time. Generally in the past, what you've seen before halvings and these other, these other vertical blue lines have been when the halvings have roughly occurred. You've seen price moves up and then a dip, except for this one here. But last time you saw a big price move up and then a dip before. That's the March 2020, and then a move back upwards. So many people have been expecting, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but many people expect a dip before the halving, so a sell the news before the news occurs, if that makes sense. And if that were to occur, then I think that sell the news event is going to happen at around that 50 to 51,000 US dollar level. So we're only, $4,000, $5,000 off that at the moment in US dollar terms. But many people think that we could actually sail through and make all-time highs before the halving as well. So which camp are you in? Post a comment below. Do you think we have a bit of a sell the news event before the Bitcoin halving? Or do you think we sail on through? So that's why I'm keeping that there. Between 50 to 51,000 is my next target to at least keep in the back of your mind. So if you like, what you can do is you can pause this video. If I could share this link, I would, but I can't. But what you can do is you can pause this video and take a screenshot right about now if you like, and maybe keep this for the next months and few years ahead, and I'll come back to the Bitcoin price every now and then when we do our regular gold and silver analysis as well. Out of interest, this right here is this is where we have traditionally, or if we, based on previous years, so previous cycles, the last 2 cycles, so 8 years, this is where, if things rhyme as the same as the last 2 cycles, this is where Bitcoin and crypto should be topping out at. So it's around about your November to December timeframe. So I just have that drawn in there in case it plays out like the previous 2 cycles, where here, November, December roughly, we topped out, and then here, November, December, we topped out as well. If that's the same, it's around about this area. But that absolutely doesn't mean it's going to happen. I just like to have that there just to watch my time frames as well as my prices as well. So that is the Bitcoin price. Interesting blip this morning, but I think quite positive for Bitcoin over, definitely after the halving. I think after the halving, we are heading up higher in my humble non-financial advice opinion, but just do watch that 50 to 51K level. Okay, so now let's take it on to gold. Now, in the last week or so, you have had 3 videos from me, one on gold, one on silver, one on platinum, and they have been our 2024 gold, silver, and platinum price prediction videos. I call them the realistic forecasts. So I'll put a link above to those now. I'll put a link below in the info section and the pinned comment as well. So you can see those for what I think are the main targets moving lower and the main targets moving higher. But let's take a look at gold, at least on the intraday time frame. So right here, this is gold at 2,128 US dollars at the moment. What you can see here is we had that move all the way up to 2,080. Of course, the high here of 2,150, that was at the start of December. That was the high for the year. And then just before the end of the year, we did come back up to this 2,080 dollar mark. Since then, a little bit of a downward movement. The positive so far, though, is we have remained above this longer term trend line right here. Let's see if I can pop that in a little bit better for you. Yeah, that's about right. So far so good. We are above that. Now if we take a bit of Fibonacci and we take it from the high of 2145, 2150 and this low, what I would want to see it move and hold above minimum, bare minimum, is the 0.2618. So I would like to see it come back to 2080 and then hold above 2080 as support, and then I would be, confident to say maybe, possibly the lows are in, at least for the next few months. And then we'd be on our way onwards and upwards. If that is the case and we do come up to 2080 and it holds as support and we continue on our way up after breaking the all-time high, $2,146, my first realistic price target for 2024, give you a sneak preview if you don't watch the video, is 2,250 US dollars. That's my first little more than 50% chance target right there. And if we do break down through this level in the next few days, you'd be looking to potentially take out, you'd be looking here at this horizontal level. Let me pop that in for you. Right here would be a level of support, and we've talked about it many times before. That is that $2,010 to $2,000 level. So let me get rid of that Fibonacci right there, and I'll pop in, oh, my apologies, I'll pop in right here. So let me pop in those two levels for you. I'm going to call it 2,080 US dollars. Yeah, I'll call it about there. And I'll call that right there, that 2009. So that's the range that we're currently in. I would like to see it preferably hold above this uptrend line right here, but definitely need to hold above that $2,010 to $2,000 level. Breaking down through there, we'd be coming down to this level, which is my first low target, realistic low target for gold for 2024 at $1,975 roughly. So definitely just want to hold that uptrend line, and I've given you my upper target that we need to break above and hold above before we make new all-time highs. So that is gold. Let's take a quick look at silver as well. Silver, my goodness me. So right here, I've drawn in this little trend line. Again, I'll put a link, if you haven't watched it already, the 2024 silver price prediction, the realistic forecast video. Hopefully you've watched that already. But what you can see here is this uptrend line needs to stay in play. Breaking down there, I would say that the first target would be, and it happens to be my first low target for 2024, that's at that $20.50 to $20.70 range. It's based on a very old Fibonacci area. And again, watch that silver price prediction video for that. And of course, as we've been talking about, this infamous $26 level needs to break above and hold in order for me to be confident that we are heading up to our next final hurdle of around about 31 US dollars. If we take a look on the smaller time frame, what we can see here, I mean, obviously that very obvious resistance there at $26. And if I were to let's take a look at the relative strength index. That's on the 4 hour. I'll go back to the daily actually. So on the daily time frame, it looks like we're trending down at the moment. So more than a 50% chance that we see some lower prices from here in silver, and I just do want to see that uptrend line holding as support. If broken, then look for that Fibonacci level right there. And as I said before, 26 is going to be your main resistance on the upward direction. That is silver. I think that's pretty much it. Quick, short and sharp for silver. I've shown you gold, and I really wanted to show you Bitcoin today because of the Bitcoin ETF fake approval. Now, hopefully it actually happens tomorrow. Many people hope that it does happen, and it was slated to happen on January the 10th, but someone, whoever that was, I don't quite know, front ran that and hacked, quote unquote, the SEC Twitter website. So let's see what happens in the next couple of days. Will they come out and say, well, it was going to happen anyway, but someone, beat us to the punch, etc. Let's find out what happens. So what do you think is going to happen? Will a BTC ETF occur? And do you think that's a good thing for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies in general? I'd love to know your comments below. And again, watch out for this afternoon's video with Chris and Branko to discuss this SEC Twitter hack and everything Bitcoin ETF. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, like, share, and subscribe. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care, and we'll see you next time.